Hey all, it's Dinosa with a sorry for the mess. It's laundry day, and see behind me, I still haven't gotten this house cleaned up. I'm working on it. I have tons of job interviews and stuff. It's nuts out there. Um, but I'm calling for Jersey Shore season 3, episode 3, I believe. Yes, episode 3. Um, Simply the infamous episode where Nicole or Snooki gets really drunk and gets arrested. But we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to go through is that basically the whole episode starts like all the other episodes. It recaps everything from the previous episode here. But mainly, this episode really jumped around a lot. On that, I don't know if they just didn't have content, or they were fast forwarding things, or saving this. So, because it seemed like it was just shoved with a bunch of filler stuff that was, I don't know, kind of unnecessary. But it also paved the way of some other issues that people are looking at here, specifically Snooki being drunk on that. But how the whole episode really starts off is basically Snooki and Dina are just acting crazy, and they tease Mike on that into a threesome, and Mike's like, okay, and then Snooki ditches them, and then there's Dina, and then Mike, and a good phrase, I gotta remember that, called kitchen ditching, where he kind of left her and went to the kitchen to get something to eat, then disappeared. So that was pretty slick. Kitchen ditching, gotta remember that one on that. It's hard to remember everything that happened here, specifically with this episode on that specifically. I mean, it really jumped around. It went from the threesome joke to then Snooki getting tan and bronzing, then GTL. It just kind of jumped over here and over there, and you really had to follow it. But what I wanted to concentrate on mainly is a couple of things. The first thing is Sammy finally apologizes to Snooki for being a jerk to her the whole time on that, about her and Ronnie, and how Sammy, or I should say Snooki and Jenny, were trying to tell Sammy that this was happening and you need to understand this and we're there for you. And she finally apologizes in the t-shirt shop, and everything is kind of cool. Now, what Snooki does, or actually then after that, they're at work when this happens. They come back from there to work at the t-shirt shop. Then Sammy pulls aside Dina and apologizes to her, said, I was kind of snappy at you, I'm sorry, and it was a mistake on that. You just got to understand everything I've been dealing with since Miami. And she said she understood and left it at that. Jenny's the only one that's like, no, that girl's gotten plenty of chances with me. I do not care. I do not care at all on that. I don't want to hear it. If she really does want to say it, she can come to me and say it, but I'm still done being friends with her. So they left it at that, and everything is good on that. And let me see on that. And that was touching, and that shows some humility with Sam in this whole situation on that, which shows Sam stop being a bitch and kind of did the right thing by apologizing here, even though she was in effect admitting her boyfriend's a scumbag on that. But she admitted it for the sake of her own peace of mind and for her relationship, because even after she done apologize, she still stayed with Ronnie. So something there. Okay. Now, going through all that here, what was interesting is Jenny still doesn't want to apologize to Sammy, which on one end I can see that, but I think what Jenny's really waiting for is for Sammy to step up and talk to her, because they fought so much. Then again, it could be an attitude of, I don't care what the bitch says on that, because it's just maybe one of those people she'll never get along with, no matter what she did, no matter how hard she tried her. It's just not going to happen. So maybe it'll get left like that. Who really knows on that? So we'll just kind of leave it at that and see what happens. So anyway, once again, after all that's taken care of, they're all getting ready to go to the club. And They go to the club, and Snooki and Dina and all, they're drunk fools. I mean, completely smashed beyond belief at the club. Okay. And they're partying. Even got so bad where Snooki and Jenny, because they're Jersey Shore, got to go upstairs by themselves without anybody around. And Jenny really needed to go to the bathroom, so she peed behind the bar while everybody else was still dancing. So disgusting, but props. That takes some guts to do that. It just kind of, it was a great party. It was a great scene. She's happy, but Snooki was really getting very heavy into it, heavy drinking the whole throughout, and she was like falling over almost. And before that, Dina was smashed beyond belief, and they had to send her home because she was so bad on that. And she just said, "Hey, just stay at the club. I'll be at home. Just stay there. It's cool. I got kicked out. That's cool." And everybody respected that, so they all had a great time. They all came back. Then they had to go to work. Now this is where the undoing starts to occur. And then with Snooki, Polly, and then Snooki, and I believe, let me see, I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the person who had to go to work. Snooki is being grump Snooks. She's going to work, tied in her blanket, wearing the same dress she did at the club. She did not want to go to work. She wanted to call in sick. She was being grumpy, all that. So she shows up to work, and the owner of the t-shirt shop's like, "Hey, Snook, why don't you just go get a coffee? Why don't you go get a coffee? Come back in 10 minutes, get a coffee, come back and help me sell some t-shirts." So she goes and gets what Tom thought was a coffee. And she goes and gets booze and gets more boozed up and comes back to Tom catches her and says, "What the hell are you doing?" And he's like, "I sent you out here to do this." Now, granted, on any other employer, she would have been fired that instant, but she's getting more sauced up, but she's happier. She goes back to the shop, they sell some t-shirts, and they come on. They leave, and then Snooki goes out and drinks some more. And she meets some old people, and she keeps drinking and drinking and drinking while everybody else was at home. And she's drinking, which is the weirdest people. So then Dina and Jenny are like, "Where's Snooks?" And she says, "She must be out there, so let's go find her." And they find her, and Snooki is like smashed beyond belief. They're like, "Come on, you're drunk. I'm taking you home. You are really, really gone. You need to stop acting like a fool and get back at home." And Snooki runs off, says, "Where's the beach?" She's running along the beach saying, "Where's the beach?" And the beach is right in front of her. And that's a problem, people. That's a real problem. I've seen people that drunk, and not myself included. I was coherent enough to see a beach on that, but that's a problem. If someone's doing that, they have a real serious problem. So she's fumbling around in the beach. Now, here's the funny part about this episode. This is all supposed to be spontaneous before Snooki and Crow. Yet, in the background of when Snooki was acting the fool, there's tons of police officers. They're not even on her yet. They're kind of surrounding her on that. Now, I don't know if they do this with the whole crew all the time, because I've noticed this throughout the other episodes. They cleverly edit them out, but there's always a space of people between the main people and everyone else. It's like a bubble. While everybody else is crowded, they can't go in this because these cops walk right by them and tell them to move on that. And so they don't get harassed on that. So Snooki's rolling in the sand, like swimming, just acting a fool. And what happened is she eventually goes up, and then Jenny's like, "Calm down," pulling her up, say here, and then the cops start grabbing her and start taking her back to the house. Then she runs her mouth, and that's the usual sure way of all things that can get you thrown in jail is running your mouth. Following instructions will not get you thrown in jail. Running your mouth will. She started running her mouth saying, "Get the F off me," and next thing, you're in jail on that. Now, it was no big charge. Public nuisance, big deal. That's, it goes on your record, but that's like friggin' a fine and you're done. On that, there's no real jail time, but anyway, she goes to jail, and Dina and Jenny can't believe it, so Jenny goes back to the house, calls her father up and says, "I'm telling you now before you hear from somebody else, she got arrested on that. I will try to get her out as soon as I can." And Potter says, okay, when she's out, have her call me. And they start fighting. Then Jenny tries to call Tom. Now this is where things are getting kind of ugly. Then Tom starts going off her, and she's like, my friend is in jail, and I'm sorry I didn't call you. And he's like, and he starts yelling at her, and she hangs up again. It's a weird relationship. Now, while they were at the club previous night before, they were talking with this other guy, her ex named Roger, which she's starting to have feelings for because Tom's being a douche, essentially, on that. Because I don't think Tom's a very controlling individual, and from everything what the show presents it as, and even in Miami, and she doesn't know how to handle it on that. So anyway, that's the show ends, and everyone finds out Snooki's arrested, and no one knows really what to do. So we'll just kind of see what happens the next go round and at the next episode. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and do the next one for the next season 4 or season 3, episode 4. See you then.